Okay, welcome back. This is the second half here. Um, so we've gone over Mindtap, the Respondus browser, taking you into course content. We're going to go into Mindtap. To open Mindtap, you have to have the code. The best place to get it is just buy the book from our bookstore. It's about $150. It includes two codes. That's for micro and macro, and the book for both courses. If you only have to take one course, save the code for the other course. So you're taking macro, save the micro course code. Don't open it. Save the book, keep it in good condition. You can put an ad up around school and sell it to another student for somewhere less than $75 and get some of your money back. You cannot return these things to the bookstore. So we're going into Mindtap. Open up Mindtap. Okay. And you have to have your pop-up blocker unblocked, and I showed you how to do that earlier. Okay. We're going to enter. You'll have to sign in. I don't because I'm already signed in. When you open up Mindtap, after you put your code in, if you don't have a code, you can use a free 2-week code, but you will have to go to the bookstore and get one. It's the cheapest place. If you try and get it online, it's more expensive. If you buy it from the publisher directly, it's more expensive. So here we go. We're going to click up here on the little 4 bars. That gives you this assignment page. You're required to do how to do Apply assignments, math and graphing tutorial. Those will be there first. Okay. Then for each chapter in the book that it's assigned, you have to do these section quizzes and exhibit quizzes. Those are just section quizzes from the appendix in the book. And then the last link in every chapter is always the Applia homework. That's all you have to do. Anything in between, you don't have to do, including this chapter, end of chapter questions. Do not do those unless you want to, if it helps you. You don't get credit for it. It doesn't count against you. So we'll go into the first section quiz here. Each section in the chapters of the book have a section quiz. So you don't read the whole chapter, you read a section in it. Some of them are a couple pages long, some of them are no more than 1 page long. As you see, this first one here is fairly short. So here, the problem of scarcity. You will read this first little section here. Then at the end of every section, there's a section quiz. Click Start. You can read here. This is embedded in the ebook, the section quiz. You just hit on that section quiz. It pops up the section you're looking for from the ebook, and embedded in there is the quiz. You hit Go, Start, and you can take the quiz. So which of the following illustrates the concept of scarcity? Okay, more clean air is wanted than is available in large metropolitan areas such as Mexico City. That's true. There's usually more than one use of your free time in the evening. That's true. Your time is scarce. And there are many competing uses for the annual budget of your city, county, or state. Yes, they could build a park or hire a policeman. So the answer here is D. All of those are correct. So then you hit D and you hit Submit. Okay, and I got that one correct, so I'm just going to go straight on to the next question. Because of scarcity, it's impossible to satisfy every desire, and choices must be made. That's true. The availability of time, goods, and resources is greater than human wants. That's definitely not true. Every desire is fulfilled. That's definitely not true. And there are no limits to the economy's ability to satisfy unlimited wants. That's not true. So I'm going to pick a wrong answer here to show you what happens. So here, I hit the wrong answer. I'm going to hit Submit. I got that one wrong. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next question. Here, which of the following would eliminate scarcity as an economic problem? Moderation of people's competitive instincts? No. Discovery of new sufficiently large new energy resources? No. Resumption of steady productive activity? No, the answer is none of these. So I'm going to hit D and submit it. I got that one correct. So now I'm finished. You can see I missed one. Okay. So I'm done. Grade the assignment. Now, if I wanted to, I could go back in and retake that quiz, and it would average my score. Okay, and I'm not going to do that. But if I wanted to, I could go back and take that quiz again, and hopefully get a 100%, then it would average my score. So that is from Mindtap. Now, let's say you want to get out of that. Okay, I want to go back. I'm going to go do section 2 now. You hit this little X out button here, not the one up the top, but this little blue one. And that'll bring you right back to that page we were just on. So now we could do chapter 1, section 2, 3, etc. The Applia here is at the bottom. That's the graphing software for the book. This particular chapter does not have any graphs in it, so I'm not going to show you that one. I'm going to go to another chapter, and we'll look at and see what that looks like. So here, chapter 2, you can see here there's a summary there. So this is the end of my chapter 2. That summary is something different. So I'm going to click on that last link, and you see once I put my cursor on it, I can see the word Applia in there, so I know I'm doing the right assignment. And so I don't have to do all of this. I'm going to try and find one with a graph on it. I believe that this one has graphs. Okay. There we are. This particular question, there's my graph. This is a production possibilities curve. You'll learn about that in chapter 2. I'm just going to tell you everything on the curve is efficient and attainable. Everything inside the curve is attainable, but it is not efficient. Everything outside the curve is not attainable. To get out there, we would need more resources to push this frontier out, say more labor or more land or more capital goods. Okay, so here I'm going to point A, and I know that's inefficient, but it is attainable. We can get to there. We can get to everything on or inside the frontier. So here we're producing, it looks like it'd be about 22 cars and 22 million bushels of alfalfa. Point B, way out here, I know that's outside the frontier, so that is unattainable. It isn't efficient or inefficient because it's unattainable. Same thing here with point C. Point D is on the frontier, so I know that that's efficient and attainable. And point E is on the frontier, that's efficient and attainable. Point F is inside, that is inefficient and attainable, and I'm going to grade it now. Oh, I think I forgot to click inefficient there, so it got me wrong. So I got 0.96 out of 1. Then it will give you an explanation. You can try another version. It'll average your scores. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to continue. And I'm going to show you another example of the Mindtap here. So I'm going to X out of it. I'm going to get another graph here. We're going to go to chapter 3. There you have to move some graphs. So you can see here, chapter 3, that's the end of chapter 3. I put my cursor over it. It says Applia. I'm clicking on it. And that'll open up. And we're going to look for demand shifters here. Okay. So here, select and drag the curve. Always read the instructions. Select and drag the curve to the desired position. The curve will snap into position, so if you try to move a curve and it snaps back to its original position, just drag it a little bit further. So the following graph shows the market demand for new homes in a community. Suppose that a recent increase in crime rate reduces the rate at which new families move into the town. So that means fewer buyers for the home. That would reduce demand for them. So I'm going to snap it in here to D2, and that will be the correct answer when we grade it. Here, show the impact of an increase in income by shifting the demand curve. So here, if incomes in this town go up, all other things being equal, it's a normal good. That will increase demand for the houses, and that will shift the curve out or to the right from D1 to D2. Now, I could have gone in, but that's the wrong answer. This one I want to go out. Show the impact of the decrease in the price of cake by shifting the demand curve on the following graph. Here it says that the demand, we have the market demand for ice cream here, and the price of cake, a complementary good for ice cream, decreases. If people consume cake and ice cream together, a decrease in the price of cake, excuse me, a decrease in the price of cake would make it less expensive to have cake and ice cream. So people would have more parties that would increase the demand for ice cream. This is the price, dollars per gallon for a gallon of ice cream. This is the quantity of ice cream in gallons bought. So you can see here as we shift from D1 to D2, more ice cream will be bought at any price for the ice cream. And that's because cake is cheaper and people consume them together. Okay. Here, this is the demand curve for coffee. People expect the price of coffee to rise in the near future. So that's going to increase their demand for coffee now. Imagine you were a coffee drinker and a pound of coffee. I don't drink coffee. I think it comes in pounds. A pound can of coffee costs you $5, and you expect in a month it's going to be 10. You'd buy more coffee now and maybe store up coffee for when the price goes up. I'm finished with this particular exercise, and I'm going to hit grade it now, and it'll grade it. You can see here, I got them all correct, and I'm done. If I didn't get them correct, I could hit try another version. You have to be careful with that because let's say I got half the credit here. So instead of a full point, I got half a point. If I took it a second time, I got a full point. They would average 1 and 1.5 points, and I would get about 3/4 of a point for the exercise. That is apnea. So once again, for apnea, that's the last link in every chapter. And you have to do the section quizzes. These graph builders, you do not have to do. Okay? Also, for the macro course, I don't assign Mindtap for every chapter. To find that out, if you go to course content, each chapter will tell you what's required of it. So for example, here, chapter 16, before I even open that, I'm going to look and it says only section quiz and the Blackboard quiz is required. You do not have to do the apnea homework. Okay, so always check under course content. Let me get to that. Course content. For each chapter, before you start the chapter, look at the front and it'll tell you what sections you have to do for macro. Micro, you have to do them all. Okay? Now, there's other interesting things in this folder. Okay, I got again how to shut the pop-up blocker off. Each chapter in the book, I have a link. You go in there, all the materials you need for that chapter are in there. So here, I've got the PowerPoints. Click on that. It will open up the PowerPoints. I would always review the PowerPoints along with reading the chapter. They're all posted. Okay, so you can see there's the PowerPoints. This is just a reminder of what you have to do. Since I did Mindtap section quiz for chapter 1, let's say I'm finished with that. Just go in there. I'm just going to mark I did it. So now that will show up on on your grade section, showing that you did that. It'll show up for me. That way, when I go in there to look, see how much Mindtap you have, I just go into Blackboard and it'll tell me what sections you've done, what chapters you've completed. So I did that. Okay. Cruising down here. These are the Blackboard quizzes. They're always in red. They're always in the chapter course materials section. If you want to take the quiz, you have to have a Respondus browser open. To do that, I can't open Respondus because I've got the recorder going, but you will just go in here, and I'll show you. Find your link for that Respondus browser. Open that. You have to have all your other windows closed when you open that up. It'll only allow you to open up that quiz. I can't open that quiz, so I'm not going to open it. Then I've got study guides. This is for exam 1. I would open that, print it out, and use that to help you study. Then appendix to chapter 1 worksheets. These are for slope calculations. If you have problems with slope calculations, there's 2 things in there you can work. And this is the end of the second section. I will have a third section for beginning the course. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.